Century Pharmaceuticals is a small family-owned manufacturer of FDA drugs, medical devices, and food products. We mostly focus on liquids. Century was founded in 1966 in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I've been with the company since 2017, originally as an IT assistant and now the IT manager. And we manufacture medical devices, drugs, and food products. We mostly focus on liquids, including wound cleansers. We have about 25 employees in here. Yes, so we manufacture, package, and distribute all of our products. Our most popular one is Dakin Solution, which is a wound cleanser that goes throughout the United States. Yes, both the process manufacturing and quality management modules are used every day. Almost all of our employees are in Acumatica, and it starts at purchasing, obviously goes through production, and ends even after we've sold the product. If we have a lot recall, the modules help us look at lot traceability reports and see if any of our raw materials or packaging components ever have an issue, where those went in the downline and which products ultimately were used. So every employee is using Acumatica and touching some point of the eWorkplace apps software every day. Our quality department is the largest department at our company, and all of them are in Acumatica's eWorkplace apps every single day, both checking on production and checking on the packing slips and following the flow throughout the whole batch process, and then also doing lab tests and recording that data inside the quality control module. We're also printing off C of A's for customers and for our own records. So before Acumatica, we had an old database that was originally made in 1995. We had QuickBooks, and we had some paper processes. And none of those three systems really talked to each other well. All three had to have the data entered in separately, which took up a lot of manual time and a lot of time double checking for the quality department. Thankfully, we have a great team here, but that took a lot of effort to make sure all three areas had the same data and had everything in one place. It was very difficult to pull information out of that system to look at the three and make sure everything was in sync. Using the eWorkplace apps in Acumatica let us put in the data one time and pull it out very easily, and it spread to every department and every view that needed to with just one data entry point rather than three. One major issue we had with QuickBooks was that it didn't monitor lots in the way that we would prefer. We had to work around, and we were able to trace lots both incoming and outgoing, but it really bogged down the system. It's not really built for the level of complexity that we needed it at. We used a workaround, and it ended up bloating the database and really made it a pain for the IT department, myself, to keep running. And there's a lot of maintenance every week on QuickBooks. That also, none of that information synced with any of our other inventory systems or paperwork. And so there was a lot of redundancy and a lot of double entry in all of our systems, including QuickBooks. Our old database was kind of handcrafted back in 1995. And more recently, we added QuickBooks back in 2018. The two didn't talk to each other, and so we would pull our raw material inventory out of one database, print it out, write it on paper masters, and then at the end of the day, say what the finished good was and put that in QuickBooks. So the inventory systems were not connected, and there was a paper trail. There was ways that we were tracing and recording and keeping that information and verifying that from our quality department, but both softwares couldn't talk to each other, and so we ended up having two inventory systems with one paper link in between the two, which was very tedious and time consuming to make sure everything was correct. Our old solutions were locally hosted, and so if we had a power outage or if the server had an update, one or both of our inventory systems might go down, and that could put production at a standstill. If we didn't have our database or QuickBooks up, we might not be able to sell or to produce our products. Having a cloud solution gives us peace of mind that it's not just one or two pieces of hardware in our building that need to stay up all the time to make sure that our data is safe and data is running. All of our historical data was just paper. We had files and files and files of data stored that way, and the quality control orders were stacked on top of those also in folders for each batch. We still have some paper processes, but now instead of manually putting that into Excel and then doing historical data in Excel, we're doing real time from Acumatica and eWorkplace telling us what to produce, us printing off things, filling it out, and that data stays in the system or gets put back in the system. And if we need it in Excel, it's a one-click button to get it right back out. It saves us hours. As Century started to grow and scale, we realized our two database systems weren't going to scale with us. We started looking at ERP solutions and knew that quality management and production, specifically process manufacturing with the liquids, was more complex than any standard ERP had, and that we would have to have an add-on no matter where we went. Our decision to go with Acumatica was solely based on our impression with eWorkplace apps. We saw the quality management, we saw the process manufacturing modules, and we knew that those were a must for our business needs. We also had demoed NetSuite and Appian Ross and didn't see the same features from their core ERP or from any third parties that they demonstrated to us. Acumatica's recommendation of eWorkplace apps really is what made us choose Acumatica and eWorkplace apps, and we've been very happy with it since. Coming from QuickBooks and a custom database, we didn't have much digital manufacturing or quality control. It was all paper-based at the time, and while that worked, it wasn't scalable. So going to Acumatica, we needed the eWorkplace to help us with process manufacturing, with liquid measurements, bill of materials, variable raw materials, batch-based processes, as well as the quality control that's required for that. The traceability, the lot traceability, the audit trails, all of that at a price point that we could pay for. And so no other company showed us something as competitive, both in the bang for the buck, the quality, and what we got for the price. We perform quality control tests at different parts of our operation. Our first one is during receiving. Whenever we receive any controlled substance or GMP controlled substance, we will do a purchasing receipt and do quality control on that received item. Then once it's released for production, there's multiple QC tests that happen both during and after production. Then once that product is released from QC hold and put in available for sale, we will test it if it's in our warehouse for a certain period of time, and that gets scheduled automatically. We also test raw materials and finished goods that have been in our warehouse at intervals that we get to set, and it gets put on a calendar and scheduled automatically. We also do this for physical assets and equipment throughout the facility. In addition, we also use eWorkplace's certificate system and allows us to qualify vendors and do annual reports and annual tests on our vendors and on our customers to make sure that they are still qualified to send us the materials that we're requesting. Since using eWorkplace with Acumatica, we've gained a lot of time. It's a learning curve, but now that our employees and departments understand and like the software, we're putting in data one time and every department is getting that data. We're printing off beautiful reports that are easy to customize, and we're seeing an audit trail and traceability of all the information. My favorite part of Process Manufacturing Suite is the variable batch sizes. We make different size batches every day, sometimes 300 gallons, sometimes 600 gallons, and we don't have to make two formulas for that. We can make one and then the day of decide what we're going to make, and it scales it to the batch size every time. My favorite part of the quality management system is the traceability. We can see who did what when, we can print out those reports, and we have permission capabilities so that managers can see things that employees can't. We're using the Process Manufacturing Suite for every single one of our products. We don't do any discrete manufacturing. All of our products are liquid-based, which causes some complex unit measure conversions and specific gravity and density of all of our raw materials. What might be packaged in a 1-gallon bottle doesn't use 1 gallon, it might use 10 pounds. And that can be very complex for other systems to do, if not impossible. We had not found any other solutions that synced with Acumatica that could do all of the math and all of the traceability that we needed for our complex batch types. I think the revision history and being able to revise batches throughout the years is very helpful. We can see both how the product was made in the past, but also how we can revise it in the future if raw materials change or packaging specifications change. It's very easy to do version control with our very controlled products. Let's take receiving raw materials, for example. In our old system, we would have our purchasing person receive them in one software, another person do quality control on paper and print that out from a different software, and then one person pay for it in our third software. It was three processes for just one box of bottles that came in. Now that is all auto-generated. We know when we receive something, we get a label that has every piece of information that we need on it. It generates a QC order for the right sampling size for that bottle size or that bottle box size, and it routes it right into our finances. Hours and hours and hours are saved every week without these triplicate processes in our old system, and just having one source of information and one automatic quality control order for every purchase receipt, or automatic scheduling of quality control for batches produced. The automation and the synchronization is just something that we couldn't even dream of in our former systems that did not talk to each other. Before, all of our quality paperwork was paperwork. We kept great records, but it was hard to trace trends and data. Obviously that happened, and we manually entered a lot into Excel and did annual reviews that way. Now those are all dynamically updated on dashboards in real time. You can also see the status of any reports or any quality control on that production the minute that it's posted. There's a lot of real-time information and a lot of historical data that wasn't easily available from our paperwork before. Our implementation process was great. We were also implementing Acumatica at the same time. We'd not been using it previously. So it was in tandem with that, and the eWorkplace team worked really well with our implementation team. eWorkplace is a must-have for anyone in Acumatica that has quality control needs or process manufacturing needs. We couldn't use Acumatica without it. We were very satisfied with the implementation of eWorkplace apps. Our implementer was very quick to respond and give us thoughtful answers that met our specific business needs. I would say if you're on the fence and you're still doing a lot in paperwork, or you're still using a system that's not syncing with your ERP, go for it. You have to make the switch. It's a learning curve, it's an investment, but you'll get your money's back. You'll get your money's back, and you'll get your time back tenfold. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would give it a 10. It's great to use. Again, our biggest departments use it every single day, and it's integral to all of our Acumatica functions, including from purchasing to sales. It touches every single part.